Hello and welcome to today's Oboe Windfree. My guest is Kathrine Barnecutt, who is the Education Outreach Manager with the Irish Chamber Orchestra, and also she's in charge with the amazing Sing Out with Strings project. Kathrine, good morning, how are you today?
Good morning, I'm great, thanks Matthew, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I wonder, it's the start of the year. Can you give me a really quick update on what happened last year with the Sing Out with Strings, with all the education and outreach projects?
Yeah, well, last year it was kind of business as usual, really. The schools were open, the schools welcomed us in, and we had over 180 new instruments to add to our stock, which was phenomenal. We got a grant from the Music Capital Fund and we were able to give every child their own instrument.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually that makes things kind of really busy. So we had two extra teachers on all the time.
Okay.
So we'd usually have kind of at least two, and then we have 4, maybe 5 sometimes to help rotate all the stock and get everyone kind of playing and everything. A lot of kids now playing double basses, cellos, violas, kind of going right the way through the school. So really exciting, and singing back in this year. So we've had the wonderful Ciara Mead coming in and doing singing and songwriting classes. So it's been busy and it's been lovely. It's just been lovely to get in and just keep going. And
Absolutely.
So it's been a good time.
Can I just ask about the children having their own instruments?
Yeah.
What difference does that make to the children actually being able to kind of feel like they've got ownership of an instrument?
Well, that's precisely it, and you've hit the nail on the head there. There is a real ownership, and the kids, it's quite a big task actually. We've kind of colour coded each class, and then they have their own line on a trolley or a cupboard or everything, so we can take them all off, put them in a place, clean them, put them back with other things, but then they have their own name on it. And so when you give out the instruments, they're all looking for their own name, and they know that theirs has this little bit and does this, and then you can really kind of put technical things that they might need and things that their own sponge, their own shoulder rest. You know, they're all the programs, but things that they like, and it really has made a big difference actually. And so you can keep that. So that's been really interesting. And also children are much more into kind of taking their instruments home. It's their own instrument, and you know they have that. So
sort of sense of pride.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And care.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
Yeah. So as we look into the new year, what's coming up?
Well, we've got a lovely songwriting project this year. It's all about nature. We were looking for things to link in with climate change and the environment, but in a kind of child-friendly and local way. So I was talking to our songwriting facilitator, Ciara Mead, who is just wonderful, and we came up with the idea of planting. So we'd be outdoors as well. So we're bringing everything kind of outdoors, and we planted with the kids 2 weeks ago over 350 bulbs. So each child got an individual pot. Sourcing the pots and everything was a lot of fun in late November, December. And then each child came down to us, and the fantastic Barbara Mulcahy from the South Hill Hub, she's their gardener in residence, and she helped us as well, planting a bulb each, and then they took them back to the class, the name on, again, that ownership as well. And there's a wonderful poem that Ciara is using to kind of generate songs about nature and about growth and about soil, and just having that tactile kind of starting point and that real kind of commitment with it. It's really lovely. Lovely.
And also thinking about performance, do any of the songs kind of play into the performance, or is the performance part
Oh, they
of
will, so then now we're at a stage where we're getting involved with the chamber orchestra. So Ciara has almost all the songs written, the bones of the songs and the idea, with the children. So the children write the songs, I should say. And then the musicians from the Irish Chamber Orchestra come in and with Ciara, and they orchestrate the pieces with the kids. So the kids will tell them, can you play that? And you play that, and I'm not sure about that. And Dave might play a little thing, and they'll say, we love that. And so it's all kind of done as a child-friendly kind of
and really interactive as well.
Really interactive, and they've been going in now for over at least 6 or 7 years, so the kids know them, so there's that huge relationship. And Malachy actually came in to do some double bass master classes as well, and all the kids knew who he was, you know, all the names, and you're like, oh, it's him. So
so the sort of long-term element of the project is starting to really pay off.
Really,
because,
it's It's all about kind of building relationships and trust, and just for all sides actually.
So we've got the ICOYO, I always kind of say that wrong. I always want to say something else. I don't know. It's
yeah,
like a lot of letters to remember. We've got that, and then we've got the ICOYO second level. Are they different things, or could you?
Well, it's just the ICOYO really, which is our second level.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Coming about from people who were carrying on, really strong players who wanted to carry on in their second level, in their teenage years at secondary schools. So we've a partnership with a few secondary schools where we go in, and obviously now we go online and teach in the studio, the ICO studio, and various different things. So there's an element of blended learning that we have going forward. So it's working really well. That's been a real kind of hit and a big learning for us as well. But the ICOYO is, that's carried on all the way through lockdown, and there's a bit of synergy there with a master's course because there's amazing students from all over the world who are coming over with amazing talents, and they've come in to coach on the ICOYO, and the freshness and the enthusiasm that they bring, and because they're kind of youthful as well, that really picks everyone up, and that's amazing. So they're helping us to kind of run and coach on that. So it's really kind of a really strong ICO kind of across the board, from Sing Out with Strings to the Masters to the whole thing. It's great.
Really, congratulations! It's brilliant to have it so well
really
kind of linked up.
Yeah.
I know that the Sing Out with Strings was largely inspired by the El Sistema project.
Yes.
Do you ever have, is there any connection with that? Is there any ongoing connection with that?
There is. Still strong,
right.
So especially now that we've got the ICOYO, we've got kind of teenagers who are able to travel and kind of work on a higher level. There've been a lot of incentives, and it was over the lockdown, it was good to be able to reconnect and pick up with around the world with lots of different Sistemas in the US and Sistema Europe. So one of the lovely outcomes of that is that 4 of our students are down to go to Paris at the end of February. It's the La Philharmonie. Do you know that? They have a similar inspired program called the Ode project. And there's a summit, a UN summit in Paris. So to celebrate this, they have children from 17 different EU countries, and I think there's over 120 different students who are going to come together and perform various pieces for this in front of the UN summit that are meeting there. We have 4 children from Sing Out with Strings, and they were all children who started at Sing Out with Strings, and now they're kind of doing leave insert music, and they're heading off to go there and perform and see Paris, and that's a massive experience.
Just one thing I want to ask just before we finish. The Irish Chamber Orchestra, it's a professional orchestra, it's known for its kind of excellence and outstanding performance, and I just wonder, could you tell me a little bit about who all these youth projects, outreach projects are for? Is it for people that want to become professional musicians and be in the ICO, or? So
the project is for everyone. It's for every single child in both partnering schools that we work with. So now from the early years and taking them up as far as they want to go. So in the schools, it's part of the curriculum. So the idea is that everybody gets to share the joy of music, they get all those transferable skills, they get to work as a team, they get to work very intensely, and really importantly, it's the incremental skill building. So skill building from a very early age, and then seeing the rewards of those. So for sure, there's a bit of a roller coaster ride sometimes, when you're incremental skill building, but at the end of it, at the end of their 6th year in the partnering schools, they can all really, really play, and then they go on. So we've got some kids who are now doing leave insert music, which is fantastic, and some of those want to go on and do music. So hopefully, we'll be seeing people auditioning and getting into the ICO and the Masters and seeing them on that way. But other people want to do bands and want to sing, and there are other people who are songwriting. It's a beautiful project with some children from the St Mary's School that we work with recently that took on where they recorded their own songs, children from 4th and 5th class, separate, but they were coming from Sing Out with Strings. So we're just kind of fueling all this, nurturing this love of music wherever it wants to go. So hopefully we'll have professional musicians if people want to do that, but it's whatever people want to do. So just nurturing a lifelong love of music and the skills and the rewards that brings.
Kathrine Barnecutt, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Thanks, Matthew. It was lovely. It's always really lovely. Thank you.